Yo, everybody, my name is Jamel, and I believe that church is the best place to talk about everything. The real, the difficult, and even the awkward things in life. Because God cares about every area of our lives, especially the ones that are hard to talk about. And that means that church should be a place where we can process anything together. It's a place where we can learn how to navigate through these things in ways that are healthy for us and honoring to God. So, when it comes to the stuff that nobody else wants to talk about, around here, we say, let's talk about it. Today, we're talking about bullying. As soon as I said the word bullying, each of us probably had some thoughts into our minds immediately. Check out what some of my students said when I asked them what bullying made them think of.
What comes to mind when I think of the word bullying is someone physically or emotionally hurting someone else.
People teasing and hurting people and being mean.
What comes to mind when I think of the word bullying is people calling others mean names or someone making fun of someone for their differences.
Our thoughts about bullying are all over the place. And honestly, I think that's because our experiences with bullying are probably all over the place too. Bullying is the unwanted, repeated, aggressive behavior that can cause harm physically, emotionally, or socially. It is consistent behavior over time, repeated and done on purpose to harm somebody else. And it's one-sided. It's a way for a person or group of people to use their power to hurt or control others. That power might be physical strength, popularity, or knowledge, but no matter what kind of power is being abused, it's all bullying. In any bullying situation, there are usually three people involved. There's the person who's bullied, the person who bullies, and the bystanders who see the bullying happening. I think there's a good chance we've all had experience with at least one, if not more of these. Now, let's listen to some of my homies' experiences.
In middle school, it felt like every single time we played a game, I was always picked last for the team.
So me and this other guy liked the same girl in middle school, and I didn't want her to like him, so I took every opportunity to say mean things about him that weren't even true.
So when I was younger, I was never invited to parties because they thought I was no fun and too good because I went to church.
One time that I bullied someone else was during basketball tryouts, and me and a group of friends that knew we were gonna make the team kind of left out somebody who we knew wasn't gonna make the team.
I remember in middle school witnessing someone being bullied in the hallway, and I walked right on by.
So in middle school basketball, everybody had the nicest Nike shoes, and I didn't, and they picked on me so bad.
Hopefully from their experiences, you can see when it comes to bullying, we're all capable of being the bullied, the one who bullies, or the bystander. In other words, bullying is something we can all relate to and all experience in different kinds of ways. I know there are some of you who have experienced relentless, painful, awful bullying. You may even be dealing with it right now. If that's you, please know that you don't deserve that treatment that you're getting at all. You're in a safe place to speak up about that to your group leader or another adult that you trust. They can get you the help and support that you need. What you're experiencing is not right or fair to you. I want to help you navigate what you're going through, and so do all the leaders in your ministry. Because like I said, we all have the potential to bully, to be bullied, or to see it happening to somebody else. And things will stay that way unless you choose to do something different, something better, something that will help us not just honor each other, but honor ourselves and the God who made us all. There's actually someone we can look to who knew exactly what this feels like. His name was Paul, and he became a Christian leader not long after Jesus died, came back to life, and then went to heaven. Paul is someone we still learn from today. That's because he started tons of churches, shared the message of Jesus with others, and wrote a lot of letters we find in the New Testament of the Bible. Basically, Paul was one of the greatest of all time when it comes to the history of Christianity. I said it, he's the GOAT. But the truth is that Paul's story is a lot more complicated than we may even realize, because like us, Paul was more than just one thing. There were times in his life when he did the wrong thing, times when he did the right thing, and times when he did nothing at all. In other words, Paul gives us a glimpse of what it looks like to be the one who bullies, the one who is bullied, and the one who stands by to see it all go down. It turns out that before Paul was the follower of Jesus we know and love, he was a pretty awful dude. He was basically the biggest, meanest, worst bully you can imagine. He hated Christians and was known for mistreating, hurting, and arresting them. He even had some Christians killed. Paul was also a bystander. We know this because one of Paul's friends recorded that Paul was there when a follower of Jesus was being stoned to death by Jewish religious leaders. He watched it all happen. In that time, being stoned meant that people literally threw rocks at you, sometimes until you died. Paul wasn't throwing the stones himself, but he wasn't doing anything to stop it either. He stood by as it all went down. But then, Paul had a dramatic encounter with Jesus that completely changed his life. What's crazy is that when Paul's life changed, so did the role he played. Soon, he became the bullied. Paul experienced all kinds of terrible things from people who hated Christians. He was imprisoned several different times, beaten and whipped countless times, stoned, starved, you name it, Paul experienced it. Why am I telling you all this? Well, to help you see that Paul was just like us. He played all three of these roles at different points in his life. He was the bully, the bullied, and the bystander. And whether we realize it or not, we're capable of the same thing. So, what do we do with that? What exactly can we learn that will help us in any situation when it comes to bullying, no matter what role we're playing? Well, I think Paul is one of the best people to listen to here. After all, he knew exactly what this all felt like, and I think that makes his words even more valuable in a conversation like this one. So let's take a look at something Paul wrote to a group of Christians back then. It's a letter called Ephesians. For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things he planned for us long ago. Here's what this means for us. You are a masterpiece. So is the kid who lives down the street, and the guy at the Taco Bell drive-thru, and every single one of the other 7 billion people on the planet. This might feel a little weird, but I want you to say it with me right now out loud. I am a masterpiece. Let's say it one more time. I am a masterpiece. Every race, gender, nationality, background, every person on this earth was made by God to be a masterpiece. What does that mean exactly? Well, a masterpiece is a really prized, valuable piece of art. In fact, a masterpiece is usually an artist's best piece of art. So, when Paul called us God's masterpieces, he basically said that we're God's best work. We are the most amazing thing God created. And because of that, we are valuable. And when we believe that's true, it changes the way that we see ourselves and the people around us. Think about the way you would treat something if you thought it was a masterpiece. You take care of it. You protect it. You look out for it. You wouldn't let other people mistreat it or damage it. And you'd certainly speak up if you saw that happening. Why? Because you know that a masterpiece has value and importance, and that means it should be treated like it has value and importance. Take this famous painting. This was painted by a super talented guy named Vincent van Gogh. It hangs in one of the best art museums ever, and people from all over the world come to view it and admire it. It's a pretty big deal. Could you imagine if someone went up to this painting and, I don't know, add a smiley face to it? Or scribbled all over it? Or added a really bad graffiti tag to it? You never do that to a masterpiece like Starry Night. It's too valuable, too respected, and too loved. Well, y'all, the same goes for us. When we believe that God made us all to be masterpieces, that means we believe we all have value and importance. It means that we never dream of hurting someone with our words and our actions. And it means we see ourselves as someone with value who deserves respect. The more that you and I see ourselves and each other as masterpieces with unlimited value and worth, the more we'll recognize that we all deserve to be treated like masterpieces with unlimited value and worth. If we want to change the way that we treat others, or even change the way that we're treated, we have got to change the way that we see ourselves and others. We have to live like we deserve to be treated like a masterpiece. And beyond that, we've got to start living like everyone deserves to be treated like a masterpiece. How do we do that? Well, let's go back to our guy Paul for a second. In a different letter, Paul wrote something else that I think will give us an idea of what we can do from here. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. The first part of these verses is pretty clear, right? Paul encouraged us not to seek revenge, to not pay people back who hurt us. Does that mean that we just let it happen? That we just take it when we're being bullied? Of course not. Look at the second part of the verse again. Do what is right. Live at peace with everyone. Instead of paying back wrong for wrong, we can choose to do what is right. We can live at peace with those around us. What does that mean exactly? Well, in a conversation about bullying, doing what's right and living at peace could mean a lot of things. It depends on what role you're playing right now. If you're being bullied, it could mean speaking up and getting some help. If you're the one bullying someone, it could mean recognizing that we're all God's masterpiece and that we have the power to take action and stop mistreating others. If you're the bystander, it could mean doing something to help stop the bullying you see around you. See, no matter what role you're playing in the situation, there's a truth I want you to remember today. You're important and others are important. And when we start believing that's true about ourselves and everyone around us, it has the potential to change the way we treat each other. It has the potential to help us choose to do what's right. So remember, you're important and others are important. I think there's something for each of us to walk away with this week, because we're all capable of playing the different roles of bullying. First, if you're being bullied, let me say that I'm so sorry you're experiencing that. You deserve so much better. Talk with your group leader, parent, or trusted adult about what you're experiencing. I know it's not easy to talk about, but you don't have to go through it alone. Remember that you are a masterpiece. God made you with incredible worth and value. When you remember that truth, the words and actions of others won't have as much power over you. You'll know that you deserve to be treated better, and you'll be able to speak up and get the help that you need. Another step you might choose to take is showing forgiveness to someone who has hurt you or made you feel less valuable. Remember, it's okay if forgiveness takes time. And forgiveness doesn't mean there's no consequence for someone's actions towards you, because part of doing what is right for you and for the one who wronged you is speaking up. It's putting a stop to behavior that's harmful to you. That's what's right. If you're the one doing the bullying, you need to remember the masterpiece in both you and the person you're mistreating. They deserve to be treated like a masterpiece, and you are capable of treating them better. Believing that truth can help you stop what you've started. It can help you own up, apologize, and change the way you treat yourself and the people around you. Maybe today, the best step for you is to ask for help with this. Talking to your group leader is a great place to start. If you've been a bystander, you also need to remember that everyone is a masterpiece. That includes both the one bullying and the one being bullied. Knowing this truth comes with responsibility. The responsibility of protecting the value in others when you see it being threatened. This can look like speaking up or standing up for someone being bullied. It means being a voice for someone who deserves to be heard. I know this conversation might feel heavy and uncomfortable for some of you, but if bullying is something we all deal with in one way or another, let's keep talking about it. Let's be real about it. Let's be better for each other. No matter what role you find yourself playing, now or in the future, I want you to remember you're important and others are important too. Starting there can help us change the way we treat each other for the better.